We're going to be pruning an apricot tree. But first I want to bring your attention to a publication that we have, and it's called Pruning the Home Orchard. And that's guide H327. And most of this information you can find here through the ACES College at NMSU. And today we're going to need just a couple pieces of tools. We got a bypass pruner and we got a lopping shears for bigger branches. And we normally have a pruning saw as well, but because this isn't a very big tree, we're not going to be using a pruning saw. So we probably won't be using the loppers either, because none of the branches are all that big. What we have here is a trio of 3 apricots. And you ask, why did I put in 3 apricots all in one place? Well, I have 2 of the same variety and 1 a different variety, and that's to help ensure cross-pollination. And why did I put 3? I put 3 because it's just more aesthetically pleasing, and I don't have much space in my yard to spread all 3 trees out, so I'm going to treat this as one big unit. So even though you see 3 trunks, I'm going to say this is 1 tree. So we're going to start pruning. What you see here, we have a lot of branches that are all crisscrossed all over the place. This tree, when it first came in, was only pruned at this height from the nursery, and that's typically the way you're going to get it from a nursery. So it hasn't been touched since. So it's been in the ground about 1.5 to 2 years. So now we're going to get in here before the branches get any bigger, and we're going to start making selections on where to prune this tree. One of the things I want to point out is that when you're pruning a tree, you see my fingers like this? If you have branches that are like this, this is a bad angle for branches to be, because when you get fruit load on it, it's going to pull and split the tree. So what we want to do is get more branches that are like between your thumb and your finger. Much more angle in here so they can bear heavier weight of fruit. And we see we got these crossover branches here and here and here. So we got to study this out. So a good thing to do before you even start is to study how do you want this tree to look and how is it going to fit into your situation where the tree is at. One of the things I want you to remember is that you're not going to prune into the trunk. That's really bad, because that will stop the layer of bark tissue here, which is the cambium layer, from healing over. So here we have 2 branches right here, and they have that typical V shape, and so this is going to be a weak section here. So what we're going to do is pick out which is the better branch. So this one looks stronger, it's a bit thicker, heavier, so we're going to take this one off. We're going to take it off at an angle, just like this. So we took this off, and why do we take it off at an angle? Because we want moisture to kind of drain off of this. If we made it flat, moisture can sit on top and it may cause some rot or something to come in. And I'm going to show you, we're going to take this back about 1/3, right about in here. And what I'm looking at is there's a bud right here, a new bud that's going to be a leaf bud, and that will form it to go out in this direction. Now if this branch stuck out way too far this way, I might take a bud on the inside to bring it back up or straight up in the air. So we'll prune it to an outward facing branch, again with slight angle, like this. So we've moved about 1/3 of that off. And we got this crossover branch. This branch goes all the way down to the bottom here. It's not very pleasing. So we're going to just remove this whole branch, just like this, right off. So we're going to open up, again, some of these branches, shorten some of these back, remove crossover branches, just opening it up and shortening things. Again, this branch, you can see this branch is right up against this other one right there. So we don't need that, but I like these flower buds down here, and I want to have some fruit, so I'm not going to cut it totally off. Now when you take off this top growth and you direct it, what's going to happen? You're going to get, I have a few flower buds up here, but you're going to get the apical dominance removed, so it's not going to keep growing straight up. You're going to release some of these buds down here, the vegetative ones, that will break and it'll start branching like it is down here lower on the tree. So you get about 3 or 4 branches lower than where you cut it start to come out. So this one's not a bad crotch angle, it's kind of tight, but I think I'll just tip these back. We're going to keep some of these branches, take this one off. Now this branch, as you can see, if you can hopefully see here, comes off of this tree's trunk, goes over and under and back up here. So last year it kind of got out of control. So I'll remove a part of it to begin with so I can get a better look at this, see which direction I want it to go. This is actually kind of a nice branch. But I think these will be better here. They're a little farther away from where I want to be. But this branch is actually growing very well. It can be difficult to make the decision to cut out a branch that healthy. But again, it's not going in the direction I want. Sometimes if you have a branch that's a little too close, like on an apple tree, you could put a little space or a piece of twig in here to space them farther apart if you don't have an option of pruning a branch and you need to keep it. So let's see, we're going to keep, you take that off, this is pretty small. I'm going to prune this one up right here. That'll leave it in that direction. So we have a little trouble here in the back. I know you might not be able to see this, but this branch is actually a really good branch, but it's too close in here. So what I would do is, let me find, I'll get a piece of branch here, go back here. I can take a piece of branch like this that I had cut off earlier, and what I'm going to do is eventually wedge this in here between this two. I can form a wedge and kind of measure it out to the angle I want. Cut that off to the angle. What I can do is place this branch in between here. So this will actually push this branch out a little farther away, and that's what I was talking about. Some branches formed really well and I can prune them, and that'll work out really well. But sometimes, you know, I want to keep this branch, but it's too close in. The crotch angle isn't too bad, but it needs to be spread. So the spreader will help push this branch out farther away and make for a healthier plant. See how quickly that's gone along? We've actually opened this tree up quite a bit in just a very short time. Now we're coming right up to the front. Here we got 1, 2, 3. That's not good, having 3 branches coming out practically in the same spot. So what I'm going to do is take out the middle one, because that'll give me a much wider spacing. Right there. Whoops, sorry. There we go. Get rid of that one. Just moving up to removing some of these up here, shortening them so they're not so tall. Get more branches down lower where we can enjoy the fruit and be a lot easier to pick it when it's closer down. All right, there we go. Pretty much, I think we're pretty much set here for this year. This is the first year pruning. Looks like an excellent job to me, keeping some low branches to support the weight of the fruit, and the tree is all open up. So, you know, if you have a question about pruning a tree, any kind of tree, fruit tree, shade tree, whatever, New Mexico State University has a lot of information